हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your kind association. Let's get started with our study of Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam in our Bhakti Vaibhava course. Let's recite our Mangalacharan prayers first and then our memorization verses for this module. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देव गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Should we recite from the beginning just today? Refresh our memory. Okay. जन्मादस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः. तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि. धर्मः प्रोजितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्. श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्योरिद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तत्क्षणात्. निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुका. स वै पुंसां परो धर्मो यतो भक्तिरधोक्षजे अहेतुक्यप्रतिहताय आत्मा सुप्रसीदति. वदन्ति तत्त्वं यज्ञानमद्वयं ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवानिति शब्दते. अतः पुंभिर्द्विजश्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रमविभागशः स्वनुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्. एते चांशकला पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे. तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघविप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबद्धवत् अपि नामानन्तस्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः. यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसः शोकमोहभयापहा. आत्मा रामाश्च मुनयो निर्ग्रन्था उरुक्रमे कुर्वन्तः हेतु किं भक्तिम् इत्थं भूतगुणो हरिः. त्वयिम्यनन्यविषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहताद् अद्धा गङ्गेवौघम् उदन्वती. उद्दामभावपिशुनामलवल्गुहास व्रीडावलोकनिहतो मदनोऽपि यासाम्. सम्मुह्य चापमजहात् प्रमदोत्तमास्ता यस्येन्द्रियं विमथितुम् कुहकैर्न भवद्विधा भागवतास्तीर्थभूता स्वयं विभो तीर्थि कुर्वन्ति तीर्थानि स्वान्तस्तेन गदाभृता. तूलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवद्सङ्गिसङ्गस्य मर्त्यानां किमुताशिषः. तिरस्कृता विप्रलब्धा शप्तः क्षिप्ता हता अपि नास्य तत्प्रतिकुर्वन्ति तद्भक्ता प्रभवोऽपि हि पुनश्च भूयाद् भगवदनन्ते रतिप्रसङ्गश्च तदाश्रयेषु महत्सु यां यामुपयामि सृष्टिं मैत्रस्तु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः एतावान् साङ्ख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्मपरिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभः परपुंसाम् अन्ते नारायणस्मृतिः अकामसर्वकामो वा मोक्षकामोदारधि तीव्रेण भक्तियोगेन यजेत पुरुषं परम् अहम् एवासमेवाग्रे नान्यद्यत्सद् असत्परं पश्चादहं यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम् हृत्यर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः यथा महान्ति भूतानि भूतेषु चावशेषनु प्रविष्टान्यप्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु न तेषाम् एतावद्देव जिज्ञास्यं तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वयव्यतिरेकाभ्यां यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा अत्र सर्गो विसर्गश्च स्थानं पोषणम् ऊतयः मन्वन्तरेषानुकथा निरोधो मुक्तिराश्रयः तथैव चान्ये नरलोकवीरा य आहवे कृष्णमुखारविन्दं नेत्रैः पिबन्तो नयनाभिरामं पार्थास्त्रपूतः पदमापुरस्य अहो बकीयं स्तनकालकूटं जिघांसयापायेदप्यसाध्वि लेभे गतिं धात्र्युचितां ततोऽन्यं कं वा दयालुं शरणं व्रजेम अशेषसङ्क्लेशशमं विधत्ते गुणानुवाद श्रवणं मुरारे किं वा पुनस्तच्चरणारविन्दपरागसेवारतिरात्मलब्धा सोऽहं नृणां क्षुल्यसुखाय दुःखं महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदाह साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः त्वं भक्तियोगपरिभावितरित्सरोज आस्ये श्रुतेक्षितपथो ननु नाथ पुंसां यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय सोऽसावदभ्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्ध प्रेम स्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजिम्भन् उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादं माध्व्यागिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः ससर्जाग्र्यन्धतामिस्रम् अथ तामिस्रमादिकृत् महामोहं च मोहं च तमश्चाज्ञानवृत्तयः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's begin our study of Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 14, entitled Pregnancy of Diti in the Evening, text number 31. Hare Krishna. Shri Maitreya Muni is describing to Mahatma Vidur about how Diti came to have Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu as her two Rakshas sons, even though she was the wife of the great Kashyap Muni. सविदित्वाथ भार्यायास्तं निर्बन्धं विकर्मणि नत्वाद्दिष्टाय रहसि तयाथोपविवेश हि. Translations and purports by our beloved founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Sri Maitreya Muni is telling Mahatma Vidur that understanding his wife's purpose, because the wife of Kashyap Muni, Diti, was holding his cloth, pulling his cloth because she wanted to fulfill her sensual desires. Understanding his wife's purpose, that she wanted to indulge with him in sexual intercourse, Kashyap Muni was obliged to perform the forbidden act. Sri Maitreya Muni is using the word vikarmani. There is akarma, which is spiritual activity. There is karma, which is karma kandi activity for sense gratification. But karma is according to dharma. And then there is vikarma, which is adharma. And they engaged in vikarma. They engaged in forbidden act. And thus, after offering his obeisances unto worshipable fate, natva dishtaya rahasi, he offered his obeisances. Natva means to offer obeisances, dishtaya, to the higher powers. That looks like this is the desire of destiny. This is the desire of providence. That my wife will not listen. She wants to unite with me right now. He took her to a secluded place, Rahasi, and then Taya Atha Upaviveshahi. He laid down with her in a secluded place. Kashyap Muni and Diti. Understanding his wife's intention, he laid down with her and performed the forbidden act. Vikarmani. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, it appears from the talks of Sri Kashyap Muni with his wife Diti that he was a worshipper of Lord Shiva. Because Kashyap Muni said, I see my worshipable Lord Shiva there. How can we indulge in sense gratification right now? So he was a devotee of Lord Shiva. And although he knew that Lord Shiva would not be pleased with him for such a forbidden act, he was obliged to act by his wife's desire. Imagine if one's guru is coming home and someone says, now let's go to the room and enjoy some. It's such a forbidden act. Guru is, so Ishtadev was there. Lord Shiva was there watching, and the wife is saying, come on, let's indulge. So it was a great offense. It was vikarma, forbidden act. Although Kashyap Muni knew that Lord Shiva would not be pleased with him for such a forbidden act, he was obliged to act by his wife's desire, and thus he offered his obeisances unto fate. There are things in this world that we can control, and there are some things that we cannot control. In a relationship, we cannot always control. Sometimes we have to give in, even though we may not agree. That's how relationships work. It is a two-way street. And sometimes someone may be so determined to do something that we just have to bow down to that desire, what to do, knowing that it is the desire of destiny. When Lakshman was told by Mother Sita to go in search of Lord Ram to help him, Lakshman did not want to go. He knew that Lord Ram did not need his help. He knew Lord Ram was hale and hearty. But Mother Sita would not listen. She was very concerned about Lord Ram's welfare, and she wanted Lakshman to go to his aid. And Lakshman was concerned that if he left Sita alone in the deadly forest, some catastrophe might befall her. But when Sita Devi would not listen, she insisted that he goes. Lakshman just bowed down to fate and he went. So similarly, Kashyap Muni bowed down to fate. There are always higher powers in this world which act upon all of us. And therefore, there will be some things in life which we cannot control. We just cannot control. Just today, my off week started. I was working until yesterday. So until yesterday, I was taking care of a patient. She came from another state, North Carolina, all the way to Atlanta because she was having some health problems and she thought that in Atlanta, I'll get the best care. She lives in a rural area in the border of Georgia and North Carolina. Came all the way, 2.5 hours drive, came to Atlanta and was having just abdominal pain. Investigations were done and it was found that she's very, very young, in her 30s, and two young children, loving husband, and found that she has a breast cancer that has already spread to the liver and bones. So I was going through everything. Did you take any this, that, any risk factors? She has nothing. no family history, nothing. And she was not taking any hormonal pills. There was just nothing, but she still got it. And what do you tell someone who is in their 30s? She's too young to even start mammograms. And already you have a stage 4 breast cancer. What did she do? Wrong, nothing. So there are things that are predestined. There are things that destiny has done which we cannot control. And then yesterday they were supposed to come for a follow-up appointment. I discharged them on Friday. And then the hurricane hit North Carolina so bad. And everything was destroyed. And they had to come to Atlanta, to Piedmont for treatment. Another setback. Just see. Such a devastating diagnosis. And it's just, there are things in this world that we can control, and there are things in this world that we just cannot control. And wisdom means to know the difference. If we get worked up and if we get attached to fixing things that are not fixable, we will become very disturbed and very depressed. But if we have the wisdom to know the difference between things that we can control and things that we just have no control over, then there can be some peace and there can be some focus on things that we actually can control. Otherwise, we get so overwhelmed by things that we cannot control that we forget to do things, or we are unable to do things that we have control over. And we lose precious time and opportunities. So Kashyap Muni understood that this was not a fight worth fighting. We have to choose our battles in life. Which fights are worth fighting for? He understood that this was not worth fighting. He had to give in to his wife's desire because she was very determined. So he bowed down to fate. He knew that the child born of such an untimely sexual intercourse would certainly not be a good child, but could not protect himself because he was too obligated to his wife. In a similar case, however, when Thakur Haridas Mahashay was tempted by a public prostitute, Lakshahira, in the dead of the night in Benapol, he avoided the allurement because of his perfection in Krishna consciousness. That is the difference between a Krishna conscious person and others. Kashyap Muni was not a pure devotee of Krishna. He was a worshipper of Lord Shiva. And Kashyap Muni was greatly learned and enlightened, and he knew all the rules and regulations of systematic life. Yet, he failed to protect himself from the attack of sex desire. Can you give me another example from Srimad Bhagavatam where a person was very pure, very learned also, very knowledgeable also, very much in the mode of goodness also. But when the sexual temptation came, he could not control, even though he tried. Yes, Shama Kishori Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Ajamil?
Yes. If you read the description of Ajamil in the 6th canto, we will read hopefully someday. It was such a description. You read about Ajamil and he looks like a perfect Brahman, firmly situated in mode of goodness. And he tried to remember all the good things. He tried to remember some Vedic verses, prayers, but the temptation was too strong and he fell down because he was not engaged in proper Krishna consciousness. Yes, Sarojanandini Mataji, you want to give another example?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I wanted to say Saubari Muni.
Yes, Shaubari Muni was no less. He was a Muni, he was a great yogi. Imagine sitting underwater for months doing tapasya. And he was sitting in Yamuna, he was in a holy place. But when you come into Vaishnava Aparadh, in the Dham, it is very serious. And he offended the devotee of the caliber of Shri Garudji. And that was the cause of his fall down. Simply seeing two fish engage in the act of sex stimulated such a desire in him that he immediately started looking for a wife so he could do the same thing. Shama Vallavi Mataji, you want to give another example?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandar Pranams. Can we say Brahma, Prabhuji, running behind his own daughter?
Yes, Brahmaji also, he knows everything, and yet he got attracted. So that's another example. Vidvanam api karshati. Matra swasra duhitra va na vivakta sano bhavet balavan indriya grama. Vidvam samapi karshati. Even a vidvan person who knows gets attracted. So yes, thank you. That is a good example also. So Thakur Haridas, who is Brahmaji, later on that same Brahmaji got attracted is going to become Srila Haridas Thakur. He was not attracted because he was completely engaged in Krishna consciousness. This complete engagement should be the aim. Thakur Haridas Mahashaya was not born of a Brahman family. He was not like Kashyap Muni, born in a pure Brahman family. Nor was he himself a Brahman. Yet he could protect himself from such an attack due to his being Krishna conscious. Srila Haridas Thakur used to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna 300,000 times daily. 3 lakh names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namnamakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. There is so much power in the holy name that Haridas Thakur Mahashaya was protected. Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Text 32. अथोपपृश्य सलीलं प्राणान् आयं यवाग्यतः ध्यायन् जजाप विरजं ब्रह्मज्योति सनातनम्. Thereafter, the Brahman, means Kashyap Muni, took his bath in the water, means after indulging in sexual intercourse with his wife, he took his bath in the water and controlled his speech by practicing trance, meditating on the eternal effulgence, and chanting the holy Gayatri hymns within his mouth. Brahma Jyoti Sanatana. He started chanting the Brahma Gayatri mantra and meditating on the eternal effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti. The ordinary practitioners of Sanatana Dharma, when they chant the Brahma Gayatri mantra, they meditate on the effulgence of Surya Narayan. But we Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we meditate on the effulgence of Srimati Radharani. We meditate on Srimati Radharani. Because Surya Dev also gets his effulgence from Srimati Radharani. Yasya Prabha Prabhoto Jagadanda Koti. Radha Krishna Ekatma Dui Dehadhari. So he felt very guilty after engaging in Vikarma, after performing the sinful act, forbidden act. He immediately afterwards took his bath, sat down and started chanting the mantra that he was accustomed to chanting, the Brahma Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurvuvasva, that one. Purport. As one has to take bath after using the toilet, so one has to wash himself with water after sexual intercourse, especially when at a forbidden time. Kashyap Muni meditated on the impersonal Brahmajyoti by chanting the Gayatri mantra within his mouth. When a Vedic mantra is chanted within the mouth, so that only the chanter can hear, the chanting is called japa. Srila Prabhupada is defining what is japa. Japa means only we can hear. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. When a Vedic mantra is chanted within the mouth so that only the chanter can hear, the chanting is called japa. But when such mantra are chanted loudly, it is called kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is kirtan. The Vedic hymn from the Kali Santarna Upanishad and Brahma Vaibhava Puran, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, can be chanted both softly to oneself or loudly. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is meant for japa as well as kirtan. Therefore, it is called Mahamantra or the great hymn. In Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Japa Aragiya. You can do this Mahamantra japa and you can sing it in kirtan, both. Kashyap Muni appears to be an impersonalist. Srila Prabhupada says Kashyap Muni seems to be an impersonalist. Comparing his character with that of Srila Haridas Thakur as referred to above, it is clear that the personalist is stronger in sense control than the impersonalist. This is explained in Sri Bhagavad Gita as Param Drishtva Nivartate. That is, one ceases to accept lower grade things when one is situated in a superior condition. One is supposed to be purified after taking bath and chanting Gayatri. But the Mahamantra is so powerful that one can chant loudly or softly in any condition, and he is protected from all the evils of material existence. Doesn't matter whether one is pure or impure. Now, standing on the Chang, Gopinath Patnaik, is that a pure place? So many people are killed there. So many criminals are killed there. There may be dead bodies. There are sword in the ground smeared with the blood of so many criminals. It's a place of capital punishment. It's a very contaminated place. But even there, Gopinath Acharya, Vaninath Rai, they were all chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. They could not take their bead while they were chanting on their fingers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And Mahaprabhu was very pleased. So this is the glory of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We can chant it anywhere. Gopal Guru Goswami teaches us we can even chant in the toilet. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. 33. Ditistu vridita tena karma vadyena bharata upasangamya viprar shrim adhomuk abhyabhashata. O son of the Bharat family, Diti, after this, went nearer to her husband. Her face lowered because of her faulty action. She spoke as follows. So this is the nature of sexual attraction, sexual desire. When the sexual desire comes, it produces such an anticipation that I am going to enjoy so much. This is going to be great. This is going to be fantastic. But after the act is performed, it is such a deflated feeling. What did I do? This was not as good as I thought it would be. It's over now, and I'm feeling so guilty. I wasted my time. I wasted my vital energy in this act. I should not have done that. There is always guilt, remorse. So Diti was feeling strong sexual urge. She engaged in that act with her husband, and before she knew it, the act was over. Husband got up to bath, started doing Gayatri Japa to purify himself. And Diti was left there feeling so guilty. I did this at an inauspicious time. I displeased my husband. I offended Lord Shiva. This is horrible what I did. But in those days, people were so pure and so powerful that their semen, virya, would never go waste. If the virya was even put in a drona, it would give rise to a great rishi like Dronacharya. If the virya even fell somewhere, it could be used in very important purposes. Lord Shiva's virya became the gold mines and the diamond mines and the silver mines in this world. So the virya, the semen of great powerful personalities, never goes in vain, not like the semen of ordinary mortals in Kali Yuga. The semen had great power in those days. It would never go in vain. So Diti knew that my husband has released semen in my womb. That means I am going to get pregnancy. The semen of Kashyap Muni is not going to go in vain. So she knew she would become pregnant. And she was feeling very guilty because she did that in a very displeasing way. The great soul was displeased. So she was feeling guilty. So therefore, adhomukh, her face turned down. When we follow dharma, there is a tej, there is a ulhas, there is a utsaha, there is a happiness and enthusiasm in the person when we follow dharma, because dharma protects us. Dharma rakshati rakshita. If we protect dharma, dharma will protect us. Therefore, those devotees who are chanting their rounds nicely, like Radhesham Prabhu, you see how he's bubbly, how that Brahma Tej is there of celibacy, purity. He has got such nice spiritual energy. You come near those people and you will feel those spiritual vibrations, positive spiritual vibrations. That is a great devotee. You go near them and you feel that energy, spiritual energy from them, emanating from them. You feel spiritually elevated, uplifted in their presence. Why? Because they are practicing what they're preaching. So, and on the other hand, when we misbehave, when we do vikarma, when we break the regulative principles, we lose the empowerment, we lose the purity, we lose the tej. And advanced devotees can make out that this devotee is not spiritually healthy right now. I remember talking to one, I was with a very advanced devotee, and one devotee came to meet us. And he is a spiritual leader in his own right. And when he came and sat, the advanced devotee who was with me, he could immediately understand that this devotee, who is a leader, is spiritually not doing well. And later on, he told me that I did not get good spiritual vibrations from him. I feel that he's living a dual life. He's a preacher in front of the screen, but in his private life, he's not spiritually nourished. He's not spiritually doing well. I got that feeling from him. And in fact, later on, that devotee, when I spoke to him, he confessed. He said, yes, I feel like just running away. I feel like not showing my face to anybody because I'm living a life of duplicity. I pretend in front of devotees that I am a kathakar, I am this, I am that. But in my private life, I am not able to chant properly. I'm not able to practice the principles of Krishna consciousness. I spend so much time browsing nonsense on the internet, doing things I'm not supposed to do. Please help. So I could not detect, but the advanced devotee could detect. Just sitting next to that person, the spiritual vibrations, the way they talk, the way they conduct themselves. The eyes are the window to the soul. When an advanced devotee looks into eyes, they can make out how the person is doing. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj had that siddhi. He could meet a person and he could know whether this person is chanting 16 rounds nicely, whether this person has broken the regulative principles or not. So great devotees have that power. Many Prabhupada disciples, if you see if you hear their testimony, if you hear their memories of Srila Prabhupada, they say, when Prabhupada looked into my eyes, it was as if Prabhupada was looking right at my soul, as if Prabhupada was looking in my past, present, and future. I felt completely exposed in front of Prabhupada. They got that feeling. Prabhupada could look straight, deep inside. So Diti had a morose look on her face and adho-mukha. Her face hung low in shame because she had done vikarma. Vikarma. Ditis tu vridita tena. Karma. Because of that karma, vikarma that she had done, she was vridita. She was ashamed of herself. Therefore, we should try not to do acts which will cause embarrassment, which will cause us to be ashamed in front of our Guru Maharaj. We should live a life where we can go in front of Guru Maharaj and say, Gurudev, I have lived my life for your pleasure. There is nothing, no happiness greater than that when we can stand in front of Shri Guru and say that my life has been a life of sacrifice and service for your sake, Gurudev. This life is an offering for you. It's the best thing one can do. That is the real success of life. If we can say that to our Guru Maharaj, that I have not broken the regulative principles, I have chanted every day, 3 times Gayatri, at least 16 rounds, I have been in ISKCON, I have tried my bit to serve, I have not done anything that will displease you as far as the regulative principles are concerned. Such a nice feeling. Sincere devotees know. Insincere devotees like myself don't know what that feeling is. But Diti, I can relate more with Diti. She was feeling ashamed. When one is ashamed, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, when one is ashamed of an abominable action, one naturally becomes down-faced. Diti came to her senses after the abominable sexual intercourse with her husband. Such sexual intercourse is condemned as prostitution. In other words, sex life with one's wife is equal to prostitution if the regulations are not properly followed. Hare Krishna. Self-explanatory purport of Srila Prabhupada, very clear. 34. Diti Ruvacha Name Garbham Imam Brahman Bhutanam Rishabho Vadit Rudrah Patir Hi Bhutanam Yasya Karavam Amhasam. Diti is speaking to her husband Kashyap Muni. The beautiful Diti said, "My dear Brahman, Patidev, Kashyap Muni, kindly see that my embryo is not killed by Lord Shiva. Avadhit Rudra, please make sure that Lord Rudra does not kill my embryo. He is the Lord of all living entities. Pati Bhutanam, Pati hi Bhutanam. He is definitely the master of all the living entities. Please make sure he doesn't kill my embryo because of the great offense I have committed against him. I have committed. Yasya Akaravam Amhasam. Because of this Amhasam offense I have committed against him, please see to it that my embryo is not killed by Lord Shiva." She was very worried about Lord Shiva's punishment. Purport. Diti was conscious of her offense and was anxious to be excused by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva has two popular names, Rudra and Ashutosh. Lord Shiva is very prone to anger, Rudra, as well as he is quickly pacified, Ashutosh. Diti knew that because of his being quickly angered, he might spoil the pregnancy she had so unlawfully achieved. But because he was also Ashutosh, she implored her Brahman husband Kashyap to help her in pacifying Lord Shiva, for her husband was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. In other words, Lord Shiva might have been angry with Diti because she obliged her husband to transgress the law, but he would not refuse her husband's prayer. Therefore, the application for excuse was submitted through her husband. She applied for forgiveness through her husband, knowing that the husband is a better situated devotee of Lord Shiva. And then she prayed to Lord Shiva also as follows. So Diti is praying, Namo Rudraya Mahate Deva Yograya Midhuse Shivaya Nyasta Dandaya Dhrita Dandaya Manyave. Diti is praying, let me offer my obeisances unto the angry Lord Shiva, who is simultaneously the very ferocious great demigod, and also he is the fulfiller of all material desires. He is Ugraya Devaya. He is a very ferocious god, and he is also Midushe. He is also the fulfiller of all material desires, and he is Shivaya. He is all auspicious. He is all auspicious and all forgiving. Nesta Dandaya. He is forgiving, but his anger can immediately move him to chastise. Manyave. He can go into man. He can go into anger also. He can become very angry, very displeased also. So please, I'm praying to Lord Shiva. Offer my obeisances. Namaha, she's saying. Purport. Diti prayed for the mercy of Lord Shiva very cleverly. She prayed, quote, Lord Shiva can cause me to cry, but if he likes, he can also stop my crying because he's Ashutosh. Lord Shiva is so great that if he likes, he can immediately destroy my pregnancy. But by his mercy, he can also fulfill my desire that my pregnancy not be spoiled. Because he is all auspicious, it is not difficult for him to excuse me from being punished. Although he is now ready to punish me because I have moved his great anger. He appears like a man, but he is the Lord of all men. Mahate, he is a great person. He is Mahadev. So in this way, Diti is praying to Lord Shiva, trying to pacify Lord Shiva, that you can punish me. You can spoil my pregnancy. You can do so many things. I have angered you. I have made a mistake, but I offer obeisances to you. Please forgive me, Lord Shiva. Please don't spoil my pregnancy. Please don't be angry with me. Sana prasidatam bhamo bhagavanur anugrahah vyadhasya anukampyanam Strinam deva sati patihi. Diti is further praying to Lord Shiva, let him be pleased with us, since he is my brother-in-law, the husband of my sister Sati. So Diti's younger sister was Sati, who was the wife of Lord Shiva. So he is the brother-in-law. Diti is saying, may my brother-in-law be pleased with me. Anugraha, may he be merciful to me. He is also the worshipable Lord of all women. Strinam Deva. He is the Lord of all the women. All the women pray to Lord Shiva to get a good husband. And he is Sati Pati. He is the husband of my sister, Sati. He is the personality of all opulences and can show mercy towards women who are excused even by the uncivilized hunters. Vyadhyasyapi anukampyanam. Even the Vyadh, even the hunters, they are also merciful to the women. It is a custom, even among hunters, that they don't kill the females. Like if a hunter wants to kill a deer, the hunter will kill a male deer, the stag with the antlers, will not kill the doe, the female deer. Purport. Lord Shiva is the husband of Sati, one of the sisters of Diti. Diti invoked the pleasure of her sister Sati so that Sati would request her husband Lord Shiva to excuse her. Besides that, Lord Shiva is the worshipable Lord of all women. He is naturally very kind towards women. Ashutosh, on whom even the uncivilized hunter also show their mercy. Since Lord Shiva is himself associated with women, he knows very well their defective nature, and he might not take very seriously Diti's unavoidable offense, which occurred due to her faulty nature. Every virgin girl is supposed to be a devotee of Lord Shiva. Diti remembered her childhood worship of Lord Shiva and begged for his mercy. Yes, even in Ishopanishad, Bhagwan Shri Krishna Dvayapayana Vyasdev teaches us to pray like that. At the time of my death, O Krishna, please remember all the worship I have done to you, all the mantras I chanted, all the offerings I made to you. Please remember that. So, in that same mood, Diti also is praying to Lord Shiva that in my childhood I prayed to you, I worshipped you. I am begging you for your mercy. 37. Maitreya Uvacha Swasargasyashisham Lokyam Ashasanam Pravepatim Nivritta Sandhya Niyamo Bharyam Aha Prajapatihi. Shri Maitreya Muni said to Mahatma Vidur, the great sage Kashyap Muni thus addressed his wife, who was trembling because of fear that her husband was offended. She understood that he had been dissuaded from his daily duties of offering evening prayers, yet she desired the welfare of her children in the world. So she knew that she had offended her husband. Therefore, Pravepatim, she was trembling. And she begged forgiveness from her husband. She prayed to Lord Shiva, and now Kashyap Muni is going to speak to her. So Diti begged forgiveness. She felt guilty. She repented her sinful action. She begged forgiveness from her husband. She begged forgiveness from Lord Shiva. And now Maitreya Muni is saying that Kashyap Muni is going to begin speaking. What Kashyap Muni speaks, Krishna willing, we will see day after tomorrow. So we'll stop here now. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Shama Kishori Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for the very nice class.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, in verse 36, it said that Lord Shiva knows very well the defective nature of women and that Diti's offense occurred due to her faulty nature. But in today's world, we find that most sexual crimes are committed by men. So why is this faulty nature kind of assigned to women?
Hare Krishna. So this is not in context to the contemporary situation in Kali Yuga. This was happening in Satya Yuga. And in Satya Yuga, the situation was different. In Satya Yuga, Um, think of the society in Satya Yuga, where people are more cultured, Varnashram dharma is followed, and women get married to their husband, they live with their husband. And within the family, within the couple, the husband and wife, the husband is initiated, the husband has a guru, the husband is engaged in the Nitya Kriya of performing yajna, performing meditation, dhyan, and the wife being more family oriented. The husband is more paramartha oriented, and the wife is more laukik oriented. The wife has a more worldly outlook because the wife has to take care of the griha. She is the grihini. She has to take care of the griha. She has to take care of the house. She has to give love and affection to the children. So the wife is naturally more attached to family members, house, comforts. Also, it is just the nature of this world that a woman is the symbol of beauty, and the man's forte is physical strength. The wife's forte is physical beauty. So, as a result, women are naturally more attached to their looks. Even today in the beauty parlor, there are more women than men. This cannot be denied because women are more conscious of their looks. Men are more conscious of their muscles. So, women are more conscious of their looks. Women are more attached to the children. Women are more concerned about the home because they spend all their day in the house. Whereas the husband may go out to earn money, the husband may travel, the husband may do so many things outside also. But the women are mainly in the house, they are taking care of the home, they make the house into home, they cook, they feed the children, they give birth to the children. So the women are more attached to the home, the children, the husband, the family, and their physical body. Whereas the husband has a guru, husband is initiated, husband chants Gayatri. Women didn't chant Gayatri at that time. So it is just logical that a man will also be materialistic, but he will be engaged in some spiritual activities. Whereas a woman, just the nature of the social structure in Varnashram, she has less opportunities for spiritual activities. Most of her daily activities will be materialistic activities. Whereas at least the husband will sit 3 times, he will chant Gayatri, which is a spiritual activity, generally speaking. So in those days, women did not go to Gurukul, women did not have initiation, women did not chant Gayatri. They considered the husband as their guru, as their spiritual master. So women generally they had more attachment to family. And when you are attached to your physical body, when you are attached to the children, you're attached to the husband, you're attached to the house, naturally there will be attachment to physical pleasures also. So in those days, in that Varnashram dominated society, human society, women are considered to be less spiritual than men. Men had more chance of progressing in spiritual life at baseline in the Varnashram dominated society of that time. I'm not talking about Daivi Varnashram, I am talking about the general Varnashram. I'm not talking about Vaishnavis, I am talking about ordinary human beings. In the Vaishnava society, all this, what I said, is not true. In Vaishnava society, both men and women have equal opportunity for spiritual progress because men also chant Hare Krishna, women also chant Hare Krishna. Men also do deity worship, women also do deity worship. Men can also hear Bhagavatam class, women can also hear Bhagavatam class. So, in the Bhagavat Marg, in the Daivi Varanashram, there is no less opportunity for women to make spiritual progress. But when we see statements in the scriptures or Srila Prabhupada's purports that women are less intelligent, it simply refers to this, that their medha, their their intelligence, their consciousness is more absorbed in their physical beauty, in serving the husband, taking care of the children, being attached to the children, being worried about the children's welfare, and taking care of the household. This occupies most of their consciousness. Therefore, in the mundane Varnashram, they have a less opportunity for spiritual advancement. Therefore, there are statements where they are considered to be less intelligent compared to, women are compared to the Vaishyas, women are compared to the Shudras. Because in the material realm, they have less opportunity for spiritual progress. But again, I want to emphasize this is not true in a spiritual society. This is not true in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, where Malini Devi, where Sita Thakurani, where Vishnupriya Devi, where Janava Thakurani, where Ambarish Maharaj's wife, she was Raja Tulya. Ambarish Maharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam describes, Sri Shukdev Goswami says she was as advanced as Ambarish Maharaj. So in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual society, this is not applicable. But in the ordinary Varnashram society, women were more absorbed in material consciousness. Therefore, there are even statements which say that women have a higher sexual desire than men at that time, based on those time, place, and circumstances. Now in Kali Yuga, what has happened is Ajamil saw one prostitute with a Shudra man, and he got so agitated that he kicked out his wife, kicked out his parents, brought a prostitute in the house, and lived with her for many decades, completely absorbed in breaking the regulative principles. Now, such scenery is available in movies. It is available in pornographic websites, magazines. Even in ordinary society, women dress in a very provocative way under the name of women's liberation to get an equal footing with men. Sometimes there is an attempt to attract, be attractive, dressing up in provocative ways or things like that. So nowadays in the human society, the lust is very high in both the sexes, but especially men, they have more physical strength because of their testosterone. Just genetically, how men are different from women, they have more muscle power. And because their intelligence is obnoxious, their sexual desire is uncontrolled, they utilize their physical strength to overpower the weaker sex and simply sexually exploit them. And this is their wanton lust and just uncontrolled behavior. That's what we are seeing in Kali Yuga, and there is no strong government to check such men. Why can not the government, like they do in the Middle East, in the Muslim countries, why such men cannot be publicly lynched? Why they cannot be publicly hanged? What happened in Kolkata, what happened to Nirbhaya in Delhi, and happens practically every day in so many places of the world where women are raped and gang raped. Why such people, why do they need to be tried in court? Because we have the stupid democracy where the vote of a felon is equal to the vote of a spiritual master. Everybody is equal. How can everybody's vote be equal? How can a criminal's vote have the same value as that of the vote of a pure devotee? Vote of a sadhu. Imagine in America, the vote of Sripad Vaisheshika Maharaj has the same value as the vote of a rapist. Does that make sense? Does that sound logical? How can the opinion of a sadhu carry the same weight as the opinion of a convicted felon? This is democracy. Everybody's vote is equal. Everybody has a right to vote and choose a leader. So fools are choosing fools. The laws are just flawed. These people who rape, these people who murder, they should be publicly punished. There should be no, there are states where there is no capital punishment. There are countries where there is no capital punishment. You can kill anybody, you can do any outrageous, heinous crime, and your life will be spared. And the state, the country will pay, the taxpayers will pay for your biryani in the jail. In the Nirbhaya case in Delhi, one person was 17 years old who raped and mutilated her, and he went away scot-free. He was tried as a juvenile. What juvenile? If you have the power to commit sexual intercourse, you are not a child. You should be tried as an adult. But these are the stupid laws in this stupid democracy. Therefore, nothing happens. Everything you have to vote, you have to pass it in this House of Representatives, Senator, this, that. Nothing can be done. A good leader cannot accomplish anything because there are so many people putting roadblocks. If there is punitive punishment for these criminals, immediately they are caught and next day they are publicly lynched. They are publicly castrated and they are hung until death. Men will think twice before looking at other women with lusty eye. The punishment should be exemplary. ताड़न is required. लाथों के भूत बातों से नहीं मानते. You spare the rod and you spoil the child. It's a human law. Punishment and reward, it works. That's what we use in upbringing of children also. But there is no punishment. There is no punitive punishment. The case can go on for years, and you hire a good lawyer and pay a bribe, and you may even get out scot-free with minimal, or you just run away from the country and take asylum in Dubai, or go how Dawood Ibrahim is hiding in Karachi, or you go to London and seek shelter. What is this? So because we have a messed up judicial system, the criminals are encouraged. There has to be punitive punishment. There has to be punitive punishment. That is Ram Rajya. That is Parikshit Maharaj, where he was willing to punish Kali. So unfortunately, there is no punishment system. There is lack of spiritual education. It is a great sin for a woman to appear naked on the screen or half naked on the screen and increase the lusty desires of men. Our acharyas of Shastra says this. A great sin is to increase the lust in others. Our job in society is to reduce lust. Why we are using words like sexual intercourse in our Bhakti Vaibhava class? Why? These are not good words to be used in a spiritual class. But we are using this because we need to understand the terrible nature of this material world. And sometimes things have to be spelled out so that we are cautious and we understand the dangers of lust. Everything cannot be just sugar-coated or just swept under the carpet. No, don't talk. We are talking because this needs to be spoken. Pornography is a real thing. Masturbation is a real thing. Rape is a real thing. So this whole society is messed up, Mataji. Our whole society is messed up. And democracy, yes, it is glorified everywhere and it has its place, but it's not going to work unless we have strict rules. And strict rules cannot be enforced in a democracy because there are stupid people with stupid opinions. And majority of the people are stupid in Kali Yuga. Prayana alpa sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana manda. People are manda. Sumanda matayo, they are ill-advised, uneducated, ill-informed. How can they make the right choice? They don't even have control over their own minds. They are visiting prostitutes, they are smoking, they are gambling, and they are going to vote for a leader. How can they vote? So the answer is that there should be a king who has absolute powers and who is guided by the sadhus, like Shivaji Maharaj. There is no other way. Nothing else is going to work in Kali Yuga. You see in the Middle East countries, some countries there is very good law and order because they have the king. They don't have the stupid democracy. It is politically incorrect to criticize democracy because we live in a democratic country. But the truth has to be spoken. Democracy will not work because in democracy it is very difficult to do the right things because there are always opposing camps. Politicians are scared to be politically incorrect because they will lose their votes. And the criminal minded people produce 4 children, 5 children, 6 children, and the Varna Sankar is increasing. The uneducated population is increasing. So, democracy, things will be crazy. What will work is to have a Kshatriya king like Maharaj Pratap Rudra, who is guided by sadhus like Kashi Mishra, Gopinath Acharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. This is only 500 years ago, Mataji. So I'm giving examples of Shivaji Maharaj and Maharaj Pratap Rudra because this is what will work. And the crime rate is very low in some of the Middle East countries because they have very strict, severe punishment for intoxication, illicit sex, stealing, raping. People don't dare to do those things. There are some Gulf countries where you don't even have to lock your door because nobody will dare to enter your house and steal. They know their hands will be cut off. Such punishment is required. Otherwise, human beings will not learn. That is just the nature of a conditioned soul. The fear element is required. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, and Ahar, Nidra, Bhay, Maithun. Bhay, fear, it works. But nowadays, people have become so audacious, they have no fear. They rape and they boast about it because they have no fear. So it's a messed up system, Mataji. So I hope you understand where Srila Prabhupada and Shukdev Goswami, what they are saying. It is based on the social structure in Satya Yuga, where there was Varnashram Dharma. Ideal is Daivi Varnashram Dharma, where no one is less intelligent. Women are not less intelligent. Women are also equally intelligent. Jai Krishna Bhaje, Sei Bada Chatur. Doesn't matter whether you are a man or a woman. But as far as today's society is concerned, men are out of control because they are not having proper spiritual education. They don't have proper role models to follow. There are unnecessary stimuli in the society, on the social media to increase their lust, and they are not afraid of punitive punishment. Therefore, they engage in absolutely obnoxious, outrageous, sinful acts of lust. Is that okay, Mataji?
Roji, thank you very much for the detailed explanation. I appreciate it. I have another question, Prabhuji. May I ask, or is it late? I know others
You can
want to
ask.
ask also.
You can ask, Mataji. Last question we'll take.
So, Prabhuji, this is a very personal, interaction between a husband and a wife. So, is Vyasadev, could he actually see what they talked and how things unfolded and what they discussed? And I mean, in a way, we are criticizing what happened. So, why was it shared, in this level of detail in a book like Bhagavatam?
Hmm. Because how can someone as abominable as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha appear from the womb of the daughter of Daksha Prajapati, who is Brahmaji's son, and from the semen of Kashyap Muni, who is so great? It is Kashyap Muni whose son is going to be Vamandev. It is Kashyap Muni whose son is Vivaswan. So all the Adityas also came from Aditi, the 12 Adityas. So how can we understand that a bad progeny came, Rakshasas appeared to teach that important principle of Garbhadhan Samskar, that if union between a husband and wife is not done in the proper consciousness, it is the children are a product of simple wanton lust, then the result will not be good. Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu kamosmin bharatarshava. The kam is not bad, but the kam vasana should be within the realm of dharma. If it is outside the realm of dharma, then it becomes vikarma, and the result will be very bad. Producing good children, attracting good children in the womb is a sacred duty of every grahastha. And this point is so important that even at the cost of appearing very this is, like you rightly pointed out, such descriptions they almost seem out of place in a book, Amala Puran, like Srimad Bhagavatam. But Shukdev Goswami has included this narration in Srimad Bhagavatam because of its importance. Even though it is very explicit, too explicit, sexually explicit description, but it is there because this principle applies to the whole society. How grahasthas, they should do Garbhadhan Samskar, what they should not do. So sometimes these negative examples have to be outlined. Shukdev Goswami will also describe in great detail the positive examples. How Krishna appeared in the womb of Devaki and Vasudev, how they were such high-class devotees, how Vamanadev appeared after the Payovrat puja of Aditi. So all these things will be also described, positive examples, but some negative examples are also required. So that's why such explicit details are given here. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And as far as Vyasdev is concerned, yes, he knows everything. He is Bhagwan. So he has full knowledge exactly what happened. And like I said, the main problem was at that time in Satyayug, these great personalities like Kashyap Muni, they could actually see the demigods face to face. And he could see that Shivji has come. Shivji is traveling. He is seeing me. And it was very wrong at that time to engage in that act. The timing was wrong. So like that. Time plus circumstances have to be respected by human beings.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Okay, so we'll stop here because it's very late and we will continue day after tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.